welcome to episode 148 of K-Pop Demon Hunters Fan Club. This is Jack, followed by
Brian.
And Duncan, who does not know what K-Pop Demon Hunters anything is. And doesn't want to know.
I guess, and Jamie. And,
John.
Duncan, you should be able to find that out from your daughter.
I don't want to ask, so I'm just not going to. I think it's safer that way for everyone involved.
I can go get Ella if we need it.
Nope, I'm good. Thanks.
I didn't know that one simple line would create chaos for everybody.
Yes.
Yes, you did. It's us.
So before we get started any further, let's do a quick station identification. And thank you to our patrons.
Do you love resin bases? Then go to our sponsor, Elric Hobbies, for all of your basing and basing accessory needs. Use code HERESYABB at checkout for a discount. Legendary Monument Hobbies. Monument Hobbies is a one-stop shop for all of your painting needs. Use code HERESYABB at checkout for a 5% discount on your purchase. Pop Goes the Monkey. Find maker of third-party accessory bits of arms, legs, backpacks, and more, where you can get 10% off your first order over $125 with code HERESYABB at checkout.
And thank you to our patrons. So this episode we have the news, we have hobby progress, and then lo and behold, we are not doing a Legion episode because GW dropped another PDF. It's like a PDF making company, which I'm fine with right now. So,
considering how often they've been putting out stuff and how much stuff we've gotten so swiftly lately, I don't think we can complain about that at all.
Oh, but there's a way. There's a way.
I'll find a way.
Thank you, Brian. But before we get to all of that, finding a way to complain, let's kick it over to John to talk about his hobby. John, what have you done?
Yeah, so this week I got a few things accomplished. I built some more NPCs for my January event. Then I went ahead and primed everything I've been working on. So I got all 40 or almost 60 background Marines for the photo booth primed up. I got a whole bunch of more terrain primed while I was out there. 25 shipping crates from GW. And then got some other terrain primed. While I was doing said priming, I got to test out a new spray paint I haven't used yet, the Color Forge model primer.
Yep.
So I picked up their kind of offshoot bone color as well as their what is basically a salamander's green. And I can say it goes on really well if a little thin, which is kind of surprising from a spray paint company for me. I was kind of expecting one coat and done, but it even says on the back of the bottle, you should spray them, you should recoat 3 times. So 3 full coats of primer on these guys. One coat is decent enough for most things, but the greens and stuff like that, you can still tell that some of these Marines were primed different colors before I assembled them, before everything got together.
Use the rust red color, and there's another color, like the metallic, like iron, kind of the lead belcher-ish color they have. And both the iron one covered pretty well with 1 coat, and then the rust color took like 2. But those cans are huge.
Yeah, they are. They're beefy cans. They're actually a little off-center for my drill-powered paint shaker, so I have to keep resetting them in that if I want to overshake them. But,
they also want you to shake those things for like 5 minutes too.
Yeah, I bought a thing that hooks up to my drill. I should have just gone with the little clamp that you sand down and fit to a sawzall, but I bought the drill thing.
It's good stuff.
Yeah,
we're wondering. It's pretty good. It's dollar for dollar. It's about it's cheaper. It's about like 30 to 40% cheaper than the GW primers. It's pretty good stuff.
Yeah, because you get a lot more in it.
Yeah.
So I got all that stuff primed. I got that stuff worked through. Went ahead and decided to work on some of these guys. I'm doing it right now, actually. I cracked open some of the different paint markers we've been talking about before. So AK and Army Painter teamed up to make the speed paint markers. They're not the same companies, but they use the same markers. So on the end, there's a little protective cap. On the knot brush end, there's a protective cap over a button, and you push that button and the paint starts flowing. So I've been using this AK one for 2 days, and I haven't seen anything we were worried about, like tip dry or leaving it closed and thinking it would dry out. I haven't seen any issues with that. I have found it's kind of handy to keep a little card nearby, so when things start going a little drier than usual, you hit that button a couple more times and then kind of swirl it around on the tip of the marker to get it flowing again. That works pretty good. I went to GW and bought all the new Ultramarine releases for 40K because I thought I could convert to 30K, and got Cato Sicarius opened, and a single Marine model is 35 parts.
Jesus.
A little hard to convert him when his right arm, which is holding a Space Marine helmet, is the right arm connected to his part of his cape that's connected to his right shoulder that's connected to the top of his arm that's holding a helmet, but he's only holding the back of the helmet because you have to put the front of the helmet on, and then you have to put the top of the helmet on, and then it's ridiculously complicated for a single model that I was just hoping to use for conversions. So I'm going to have to figure out how I can make him into more sub-assemblies so I can actually use the guy.
Well, I mean, a lot of the newer characters for Heresy are kind of the same way. Like, you actually legitimately need instructions on how to put together something because they're so oddball, and like they're not easily convertible for other stuff because of the way it's just together.
It's just a pain. I picked up one of the Christmas ornaments. We'll get to what that looks like in the news. And then did everything I was talking about last week. So last week I challenged myself to watch all of the Warhammer Plus Heresy stuff. And I did. And we're going to talk about that a little bit after the news as well. And then I've been writing my packet for Texas Open. So I've got all my missions come up with. I've got my objectives come up with. And I'm just kind of fleshing out a few more of those things that go on that. And then obviously I watched the fancy Atlanta preview day with Duncan and Jack. And that's really been my week. What about Jamie?
I did a whole lot of jack and squat this week because I've had that soccer tournament from hell. And thank the maker, it's freaking over, and I'm done with soccer for quite a while. Well, let's go 3 months. So, I ordered stuff this week. I got, what's his name? The Iron Hand dude. With the new guy that's the Siege Breaker looking guy, the Terminator. Because I was going to convert him into a Siege Breaker. And then I got some more of the quad mortar guys, or more of the quad mortars, not for the quad mortars themselves, but for the guys. I'm going to do that HQ squad with the viewers, the off-spec viewer thingies. And I'm waiting on transfers to show up any day for the Titan, because I'm kind of at a point where I can't do anything till I get those done, and then I can proceed forward. But the Titan's that's where I'm at. I'm done with most of the major painting on the Titan, so it's just all painting the base and weathering at this point. So how about Jack?
I did a hobby. I don't know how I did a hobby. I think it was on accident. I put together my whatever tank that not Duncan, John guilted me into doing, because that's what I'm going to call it now. I put that together. Are
you calling it the guilt wagon?
The guilt wagon, yes, not the. Oh wait, sorry. No, we're not talking about Quentin Tarantino. Never mind. So then I decided to go ahead and prime everything. So I primed everything, And since I primed everything, including both that one, the Storm Hammer that I procured last year. I went ahead and primed and put down the base coats for all of those, along with 2 Predators, a Land Raider Achilles, and then finished a I don't remember what that thing is called. The bigger Sakaran.
The Kratos?
Kratos, there we go. Yeah, I went ahead and I finished painting that I started painting, I'm going to say at this point 2 years ago. I went ahead, busted out the new airbrush that I got, the same one that Duncan got during Adepticon. I was not impressed with any of it. Yeah.
Didn't you get an H&S Infinity?
Infinity Plus.
Yeah. The .25 nozzle, that was okay. Once I figured out how to change out the needle to the point whatever it was surging a lot.
Okay.
And it wasn't my air compressor, because I have a tanked air compressor, so I'm not losing pressure from that. And then when I hooked up my old airbrush, it was running through fine. So I put the .2 whatever needle back into it, and it wasn't surging anymore. Yeah, it just I don't know. For the money that I spent on it, I was expecting it to take me out and wine and dine and 6-7 me.
I'm not. I mean, I really don't know. I mean, you said you've had it for like a year and not used it.
I got it at Adepticon. I ran water through it when I first got it just to confirm it worked, and it worked fine. And I greased it up, old a needle like I normally do, and put it up. And on a .2 whatever the small needle was, it worked fine. It didn't surge. It was the .44 needle.
Well, after show or whenever you got time, which me and you never do, we can go through it and we can see if you want to try and fix it. So.
Tonight's not the night, but at one point I will take you up on that.
Yeah, and if you can find better time with me, I'll help you too.
Okay.
Yeah,
I appreciate it. But I don't know, this comparatively, like, I know me and Duncan are the only ones that really haven't had that big of an issue with Badger. I know you all have a laundry list of issues with them. So from my perspective, the $200, was it $200, Duncan? I don't remember.
No, it was more than that. We spent
probably $275.
There was a small discount. We basically got them for $250.
Okay, so the $250 that I spent on it versus the $56 I spent on the
Badgers
Patriot 105 Extreme. It wasn't a in my mind impressive enough improvement over it. Maybe if I've had the shit show like John and Jamie has had with Badgers, I think they both have like 75 Badgers, and they zombify them, and they go out at night and find poor and unsuspecting souls and drag them into the hobby, possibly suck their blood. I don't know, I got all of that done. Started base coating. I did find a file, I can say this, for super heavies, for a dozer blade for super heavies that's really freaking cool in my opinion, because it fits the size of super set heavies but don't really block off anything.
It's split, or is it like up in the front?
It's a full-fledged plow, yeah. Kind of I don't know, kind of like a supersized version of like the old Forge War one.
The Mine Plow?
Yeah, kind of like that. It looks really cool, especially if I'm sitting on top of a super heavy that I'm probably never going to play. Just being honest. And then,
you're going to play it in Zone. You're going to play it in Zone for
Yes.
Look, if I can play one of those in Zone Mortalis, I probably would, especially the one that has all the guns, the Storm Hammer. There we go. I'm going to remember the name at some point. Yeah, that one's just cool. I'm trying to think of anything else I did. I started printing off tank accessories that I found on Cult 3Ds, like more realistic, like hammers and shovels and jacks and stuff like that. Stuff that you would use like actual modeling, because I'm probably going to put it on one of the tanks just to make up like something that looks kind of cool. Is the idea behind it. And of course, everything is painted to look like the Ultramarine Solar Auxiliary people things, because I blame John. After that, I kicked it over to Brian for him to talk about what he's done.
Hey, how about you, Duncan?
Right. So I got a lot of stuff done this week. I didn't paint a damn thing. I didn't build a damn thing. I did finish and bring online our shop website for our merch store, and I got all our art and our new art put on shirts, hoodies, zipper hoodies, and some other stuff. I haven't ordered all of our posters yet because nope, not doing that yet. But all the rest of the stuff for the stores are open, the stores are live. We've already got an order or 2 or 3 or however many at this point. So anybody interested in that, they can find our previews of our art up in the Discord section of the channel for the official HABB announcements. They can also find it on our Facebook group. And if they want to see what it looks like on shirts and etc., they can find them on our merch website that you can get a discount on, which is 10% off, which is going to be the Black Friday thing that will run all month long. That discount code is HABB Store, all caps, for that. And you can find the store at heresypodcast.com. It's linked there. You can also find a link to our Discord and our Facebook and other stuff. But beyond that, which I finally got almost all done Wednesday night into Thursday, I haven't really done any hobby. This week's been kind of busting my butt, so it's what it is.
Here's that dozer blade that I was talking about.
That is a hefty dozer blade.
That's very, yeah. How you can almost use that as like a bunker.
Well, you can hide.
Yeah, I mean, you could.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised. That's a hefty chunker.
Mm-hmm. So, all right.
And then I turned it back over.
Is that everybody?
That's everybody.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So that takes care of hobby progress. So that takes us on to the news. John, did anything happen this week? Was there any type of announcements? Did we get anything nifty? Could there be another box set with a Leviathan in it that is for some reason driving people around the bend?
It might be. You can see I've got about 20 tabs open for news this week, but let's start off with my quick review of the Games Workshop Holiday Magnet.
Yeah, this needs to be posted to our Facebook group and everywhere else because it's hilarious.
So the GW Holiday Magnet
is it sliding
made
down
of
the refrigerator?
Yes. It's not strong enough to hold itself up.
The magnet needs a magnet.
Yeah. So I have to put it on you can see there it's sliding next to my Heresy calendar, which is held up by a 25-pound magnet. And I stuck it on that. So, so the magnet itself is a nice little neodymium magnet, but the magnet, the housing and everything is made of like old-fashioned pewter. This thing weighs a lot for a fridge magnet, and I don't think that they planned on how heavy it was going to be before they picked the magnet.
Especially, it might work a little bit better on like a refrigerator that has like a little bit of texture to it. Like I've had magnets slide down smooth refrigerators before, like the stainless steel ones, and not slide down the regular old school. I don't know how you say that, but yeah. You know what I'm saying.
So this Sunday we saw the release of the kill teams. So the Death Watch kill team, or Saturday we had the Death Watch kill team, the Canoptic kill team, and then all the Tomb World terrain came out for pre-order, and then the Ultramarines obviously dropped. A lot of the Blood Bowl stuff is already sold out online for the US. So if you were waiting for that, you might be waiting a while. For next Sunday's release, we've got
lots of boxes.
Lots of boxes. So Battlefront Krieg,
yeah,
Chaos box, Emperor's Children box with a Fulgrim, Votan box, Marine box, Shadow Strike box, Tyranid box, Age of Sigmar got a bunch of boxes. And then there's
French
Siege of Terror Collection 3 book is coming back.
in French.
Special Guard book. And that's really it. There's just a bunch of the Christmas boxes that are starting to go up for pre-order next week.
The Krieg one's really probably maybe the only one that would be useful to most Heresy players.
Yeah, it comes with 2 of the mortars, a Lord Commissar, a 5-man Krieg Command Squad, a 5-man Krieg Combat Engineer Platoon, and then 20 Kriegsmen.
And a partridge.
You'll probably need 3 or 4 of those to make a decent army for militia.
Or you could just get the militia box that already exists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, militia is really kind of whatever you want it to be, so yeah. So on Thursday, we had the drop of the new Zone Mortalis rules that we'll be taking a closer look at in just a little bit. Definitely an interesting book. We already got version 1.1 as a hint for anyone that downloaded it early. The only thing that changed between the 2 of them was for some reason it recommended games are played on a 4x3 table, and then it became play on a 4x4 table. It dropped another
4 makes more sense.
Yeah, and especially because all their missions were 4x4 layouts. They dropped a couple more art articles. One of them was all Thousand Suns. There was another one that was all Black Legion. Just kind of throwing through these quickly for people that want to look at them later. Then we went into the World Championship previews.
Yeah.
Which we had a hosting watching of the night it came on.
Yeah, we had about 4 people in there. 4 or 5 people in there all told.
Somewhere on there.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah, so obviously Necromunda got a bunch of stuff. The new Ostium Aranthus Prince character model is coming out. He looks really cool for I'm probably going to be stealing him for a militia commander. The Palatine Justicars, which are kind of a mid-level special character for the Palatine Enforcers, with their cool little robes and stuff. Ironhead Squats are getting another expansion box with Drill Masters. And then Aranthian's getting a new fluff book. It's supposedly taking place there. Old World got a bunch of Cathay stuff coming out, so if you're looking for a bunch of nice flat panels, you can look at the Crane Gun team for your White Scars. Same with the Iron Hail Gunners. They've also got some Peasant Bowman Levy and Pike Levy, and then there's a book all about the siege of the Great Bastion for Cathay. My guess would be it's also going to have like actual siege work rules and things like that if you want to replay those old fantasy games. Again, probably the coolest White Scar parts ever. This dragon banner would look really cool as a standard or herald for your White Scar army.
And there's definitely some rocking top knots on those gunners up there as well.
Oh, yeah. Legions Imperialis got the Saturnine treatment. So you get 3 Saturnine Terminators per tiny base, or 1 Saturnine Dreadnought. The Arachne got a hell of an expansion, so we're used to the 4 autocannon barreled. It also has a new one with 2 Punisher cannons.
Woo-woo!
Or 4 Aureus frag missiles, which look like the ones that came on the Guard Death Strike. I want these in 30k scale tomorrow.
I think I can speak for everybody. The idea of 2 Punisher cannons at once on one thing, That just sounds like a lot of fun.
Yep. I think you'd see people taking them more too.
Yeah.
I think so also.
And it wouldn't be game breaking, really. Like the number of shots from the twin auxiliary autocannon to the quad, it's only 4 more shots. So, like, if they do something similar with that with the Punisher, it wouldn't be that bad. Maybe it'd be fun.
The Punisher itself is only firepower 8.
Yeah.
It has ordnance firepower, so it goes up to 16 shots. So even if it's only 32 shots, that's kind of cool. Strength 6, AP 4.
It doesn't have pinning or anything, right?
No.
Suppressive 2.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, that's... I mean, even if it is that, it's not that bad compared to other stuff out there. So, yeah. I can see that.
There's also a Saturnine battle group, which is just a bunch of Terminators and Dreadnoughts and a couple of Mastodons and 8 of the Arachne platforms. Legion super heavy tanks are coming to Imperialis. So it started off with the Cerberus and the new tank, the Ascalon Inferno gun, which is basically a Warhound-size heavy flamer strapped to a tank.
Yeah.
Strapped to a super heavy tank, so...
Super heavy tank. And also the Fascalon, too.
Yeah, the Falchion and Glaive also got previewed for Imperialis, which I think will be pretty cool. It means we're probably not that far away from getting the Glaive for $30K.
Yeah.
That would be the hope.
Then they announced that they're going to start doing combined arms battle groups for Imperialis. So there's a Marine one. There's a Solar Ox one. I thought they showed a Mechanicum one, but I guess not. And then there's a Ruin of the Salamanders journal coming out as well, which has for all this stuff and some historical missions.
Those boxes have flyers from AI in it that they released way earlier that they've kind of redone.
Yeah, they're starting to kind of repackage a lot of that Imperialis stuff to bring it more into combined arms game, which is good. I like a big war game like that. I just don't know any. Locally, there's only about 3 or 4 people that play it, and I'm painting so much $30K right now, I don't have time to get into a tinier game.
Yep.
That's a fair statement.
We also got the preview of the Horus Heresy Saga curated series. So they're re-releasing Horus Rising with a new cover. This is going to be 12 books pulled out of the entire Horus Heresy 54-book saga. And they're just going to reprint these as kind of a most important book series, basically. So you got Horus Rising, False Gods, Galaxy in Flames, Flight of the Eisenstein, Fulgrim, The First Heretic, Prospero Burns, No Fear, Betrayer, Praetorian of Dorm, Master of Mankind, and Slaves to Darkness.
All right. I've got some serious thoughts on that, and I'm gonna kind of go off on a tangent here, so please forgive me.
Right.
Yeah, I know. So I take the books and lore very seriously. I know that everyone's gonna be shocked by that. Curating the series of these the entire 54 book series, which technically is 55 now, or 56, down to 12. To me, seems to leave a lot of the actual story of the heresy out. Yes, I know we can all paint ourselves into the heresy by picking planets in areas that aren't really covered very much and playing games set in there and build our own narrative, which we all do. And we all have fun in, and I love that fact. But curating the 50-plus book series down to just 12, to me, that doesn't seem very efficient. Because you're leaving off so much story, so much character-driven everything, that it just it really hurts the immersion for someone coming in to read, thinking this is the entire series.
I think they failed a little bit in calling this a new series. I wish they wouldn't have called it the Horus Heresy Saga. I think that's a little bit of a failure. What they say here is it's a good jumping off point So if you read these books and you're like, oh, I wonder what else the Ultramarines are up to, you could read the rest of the Imperium Secundus and all that other story beats. So I kind of get what they're doing here. They're using this as like the bold points of the heresy.
I mean, yeah, I get that part. I really do. But if you read, and I'm just going to pick one here, Praetorian of Dorne, you're not going to know anything about the I Am Alfarius stuff that goes on. You're not going to understand that at all because you haven't read the Alpha Legion book. You haven't read any of the other stories that involve the Alpha Legion because none of the novels up there really touch on the Alpha Legion at all.
Yeah.
If you read Prospero Burns and don't read the what the hell is the Space Wolf book that I don't even remember the name of right now. If you don't read that one with that, there are two books. Basically, they're twin books. You read them both together, and you get the story. Yeah, the Burning of Prospero. No, Prospero Burns is the Burning of Prospero.
What is it?
I think you're proving a point for them, Duncan, right now.
Yeah, you're really not getting the story.
Burning Prospero, Thousand Sons, and I think that's what it was, wasn't it?
Yes. So you're not going to get the Thousand Sons perspective. You're only going to get the Space Wolf perspective here. It just there's so much more that should be actually included. I know years and years back, Ryan Kimmel did what he thought was the essential reading for Heresy. I know RFI did it. I know a number of other people out there have done it. I did it myself right before we switched over to the Siege of Terra novels. If you're coming into the Heresy now, and you're coming into the series of novels now, the first 4 books on this list are great. You should absolutely pick them up. You should also pick up Fulgrim. And you should also, you should pick up every single one of these books, but not only these books. If you want to know more.
That's the main point here is I think these are probably the 12 best-selling books and best-reviewed books out of the series, would be my guess. My guess they tried to pull it to 10, but then realized they had to put all 3 of the intro books in instead of just one of them.
That would make sense. Yeah. There's obviously some books you can leave out of the series as a whole. I'm looking at you.
Beer.
No. It's that one that's set on the demon world that has no characters that matter, that never goes anywhere, and then ends with
the dinosaur fight.
Yeah, the dinosaur fight. Yeah, that one was terrible. You could ignore that and say.
Damnation of Pythos or something.
Yeah, Damnation of Python. Yeah, that one's terrible. You can leave that one off. You could also leave off
the Abyss.
Yeah, you could definitely leave off the Battle for the Abyss. But I'm not going to waste any more time on this. So, if you want to know which ones are the essential reading list, someone let me know on Facebook or on Discord or via our email, and I'll repost my own personal curated novels I think you should have to read. The end. Sorry, John.
Yep, you're good. I think it's going to be cool to have some new artwork, though. They claim that they're going to have new cover artworks for all these.
That would be cool.
It's kind of nice seeing Horus in white armor there on the cover for this first one, at least.
I would agree.
We got announcements of the next journal for 30K. It's going to be scroll on the bottom here, Skitarii, the Steel Hand of Mars. And so Skitarii Battle Pilgrims are coming to 30K with a brand new plastic box set. These are not the 40K Skitarii. They are chicken-legged pilgrims in burnt robes. What did Jack call them? Homeless robot people?
Homeless robot people.
You live under a bridge, yes.
Yeah. They have very interesting guns. Their arms look very 3rd edition Necron to me. They're kind of bland.
I was going to say they're kind of Necron-y.
Yeah. I like the idea of this, and if I had to guess, people were complaining about Skitarii not being in 30K enough. but they can't combine the boxes because they want to keep the SKUs separate for marketing or for internal purposes. So they decided to bring these out.
I don't know. I mean, they kind of look like flame guns a little bit.
Yeah, like a combination of Rust Stalker and the Ash Waste Necromunda army, where they're all kind of hobos.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go out on a limb here. I think these guys look awesome. I think the guns look cool. They look flavorful for being different. And I could definitely look forward to seeing a whole army with that kind of aesthetic of the homeless robots.
Oh, yeah.
I think that'd be awesome to see on the table.
I like them.
And I think the color choice isn't helping them either.
No, I think they're horrible.
That green clashing with the bright black brass and black all over. I think if you painted the gun probably a wood to tie it more in with 40K and then some other color choices would help a lot.
Yeah, I think if they were like the actual Mars colors, they would probably look a lot better with the dark green, the red, and
yeah. I could definitely see that.
It's not even like the white that I use; it's very off.
As it is, I think they're awesome looking.
I really like the Marshal, so he's the only one shown with any options, which is kind of worrying about the Pilgrims themselves. So the Pilgrim Marshal is basically their war leader. He comes with either two different staves. One of them looks like the lance that the Peltasts have. And then there's two different servo skulls that have various different mounting options on his body or his base, depending on what you want. And then also we're getting a plastic Voltarax.
Yep. Yay! To go with my resin one.
Yay, Voltarax.
There's definitely some design changes, like the giant band in the middle of it is not exactly the same. There's some other changes around there. I saw some complaints on some forums. I like the more cables down at the bottom that kind of ties it more into what it becomes in 40K, which is the poop flyer. But it's nice to see it in plastic finally. I like the overly detailed engines. We've got actual thruster cells on the engines themselves.
Yep.
And then the missiles are completely detailed this time instead of just being a block.
Yeah. Yeah, the old ones were like Havoc launchers, basically.
Yeah.
I think the gun's a little different.
I think that's probably a color choice because the only picture they have, it really blends in with the tentacles coming off of it.
The tip of it's totally different than the one I have. So.
Oh, yeah.
The tip's always different.
So
the tip's always different.
It's from guy to guy. Tips are different.
Oh my god.
Some tips are shy, some tips aren't shy, you know.
Yeah, some are clipped, some are not.
That one looks like it's more difficult than the one I have.
So
some stroke around like a peacock, some you gotta convince to come out and play.
Yeah. And if you've been drinking, they don't like to come out very often. So all of these are going to be released together in an 18 model box called the Mechanicum Skitarii Battle Group. So you get 8, 12, 16 Battle Pilgrims, a Marshal, and the Voltarax in one box.
Which, I don't know. I mean, that kind of seems like it's not that big a box. Like,
yeah.
It seems like it's actually really small box, to be honest with you, unless the Voltarax is, like, just excessively overpriced, which, I mean...
Think about it this way. How hard was it before to get hold of Voltarax?
It's one of the last actual Forge World models I got, like, a long, long time ago.
So if you were running a pure mech list and you wanted to, say, bring 4 of them...
they're pretty...
rather than get the resin ones from GW that are next to impossible to get, you get this box. You get your 4, and then you've gotten 60-something dudes.
Yeah, let's wait till we get rules for them to see where they go. I wonder if they're going to be like a recon choice, because Mechanicum, we haven't covered Mechanicum a lot, mainly because none of us play it, but I've read the book a few times, and I've watched a bunch of podcasts on it. They're really kind of hurting for choices in the recon and fast sections. So that would be my guess where these guys are going to go. So I wouldn't load up on a bunch of these boxes.
They said that the weapons, the gun, at least if that's the only option for them. They said that those guns are fairly short range. So
yeah, so it wouldn't surprise me if these are some type of infiltrating unit or something like that.
Yeah.
Yep. Who knows at this point?
Yeah, but anyway, those are all going to be in the Skitarii journal, which looks to be a very thin journal.
Now, I will say I've seen people talking about, like, they're kind of like, not really impressed with it, but then I've also seen, like, AdMech people, and particularly dark AdMech people that are, like, super jazz hands about these because they think that this is more on the dark AdMech-y side than you would normally get from the normal side AdMech, like Thagamata or whatever. Just the look of it is more what's his name? The Scorpius, not Scorpius. The big the big
Scoria.
Yeah. Because like if you kind of go like with that model, like the cape, the frayed cape, and all that kind of stuff he's got on him, and
yeah, I can see that.
And that's a very badass model. Like
it is. It's also huge if you haven't actually seen it. Oh yeah, another thing with the Voltrax, if people haven't seen it and like they're like, oh well, I'm gonna make dust. What are the Plague Blight drones or whatever 40K? The 40K model is freaking huge compared to the 30K model. Like, it ain't even remotely in the same size class.
Yeah, the 40K one is fairly small. This one is pretty beefy. Because this 40K one's coming like 2 or 3 to a box.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, we had what everybody's been waiting for. New Cataphractii Terminators.
Ozempic Cataphractii.
Yep. So,
little hourglass figure going on with the new ones.
Yeah. Pop quiz, Jack. How many Cataphractii do you have unpainted, unassembled at your house?
No shit.
That's a good one. I can tell you, Duncan. I actually know for me.
Same.
Well, you see, what box sets came with them?
Yeah, so let's just stop there.
I have 35 plastic, and then I have another 10 resin old ones. Like the original.
Probably 60 plus.
I'm sitting somewhere in the neighborhood of 30 plus, maybe 40 plus in plastic, and I know for a fact I have 15 in resin. So yeah.
I'm going to buy 1 box or 2 boxes of the Volkite ones to use for command squad, since these are a little more ornate in some places.
Yeah,
I think they'll look good for that.
I mean, I'm happy they come with. Apparently, there's the autocannon with the Volkites for the heavy weapon. But like, come on, man, quit pushing the fucking heavy flamer. Nobody uses that shit.
Yeah,
especially with now that ZM doesn't give bonuses for flamers. God.
Yeah, so what Jimmy's alluding to is the only pictures we've seen are... So these boxes break into 2 different ways. There's the Volkite and Maul box, and then there's the Combi Bolter and Power Fist box. The only autocannon we've seen is carrying a Maul, and the only heavy flamer we've seen has a Power Fist. So it's possible that you only get each one of those weapons in those boxes.
And from the pictures that we've seen, also, no grenade harnesses either.
Yeah.
Yeah,
there's a back banner, which is kind of neat looking.
Yeah, it's a little different.
For traders.
Yep. And then
I hope we get more weapon options with them, and
I'm hoping that the old hands will fit with these and not look stumpy.
Maybe.
Yeah. Or they'll have separate wrists at least, so that way we can put other weapons on them, because you can still take all the other weapons from the unit.
And GW still sells the other weapons.
Yep. Have a bunch of those too.
Yep, same here. So then we have the next important one.
Mark III Breachers with all the guns we could want.
Yeah.
They showed bolters, they showed graviton guns, they showed las cutters.
They showed more bolters.
More bolters.
More bolters.
Yeah, not like regular mag bolters, but drum bolters.
And they showed absolutely different helmets than the other Mark IIIs.
Yep.
We don't have the pickle hob.
Yeah, so we did some talking offline. It looks like this is just going to be an expansion box to the existing insert mark here. So you've probably got the right arm and left arm, the bolter and the shield, and then whatever heads are coming, whatever breacher charges, some of them show, and then it looks like there's also a new Sergeant Bear head in there as well, because all the other poses as well as all the other accoutrements like the Vox all look exactly the same as the normal Mark III.
Yep. It does look cool as hell, though.
Yep. And not to be outdone by Mechanicum, these guys are going to get their own box called the Siege Assault Battle Group. You get 12 Terminators, one of each box. You get a squad of 10 Breachers and another Leviathan.
Yay!
Because no one's taking them.
This box seems like it's a lot pricier just from what's in it compared to the Skitarii box. Let's just put it that way.
Yep.
I mean, it's at least 2 Terminator boxes, a Leviathan, which is what, $115, $120 by itself normally, and then a breacher upgrade sprue with the Mark III squad. So this is probably, I'm gonna say, maybe one of like the standard Battle Force size box, which would be like in the 220 to 230 range.
I'm hoping it comes in at under 2. I really am.
Yeah,
but maybe. I'm not that hopeful.
I think the Skitarii ones looks just, unless they just price the Skitarii like sky high, a lot cheaper than that. I don't know. That's my guess.
Yeah, no matter how you cut it,
right now it's 10 Terminators for $96. I could see them either keeping that price or going up to the full 100 for the 10 or for the 12.
Well, so let's say 100 for just giggles,
and then 80 for the squad.
Well, you're gonna get 100 for the Terminators, and then 115 for the Leviathan. So that's 215 right there, and then
Leviathan's 90.
Okay.
So you're looking at 1 and 290s probably, because right now tactical squads are 80, assault squads are 74.
But a tactical squad's two 10-man sprues. That's only one sprue from what they're picturing.
Right. That's why I was kind of comparing it to assault squad, which is 74.
Yeah. I think it's going to be realistically priced right around the same price as the assault squad, like John mentioned.
Yeah, probably 200 for that box or something. That way you get a free one.
I'm still going. It's going to be the standard Battle Force pricing.
All right. Warhammer Animation dropped a bunch of cool trailers for some Eldar stuff, some more Aeronautica stuff, Sisters of Battle stuff. There was a cool Berserker chopping up people in 3D. A bunch more Age of Sigmar animation. And that's coming out all over the next year. It was a cool trailer if you want to watch it. We're still not done with all the championship announcements. 40K got a Votann character, some Tau characters, a Tyranid character. And then the announcement of Titus coming back from Space Marine 2. So Titus is coming back with a cool cape and his chainsword and a bolter. He's going to be in a big box called the Wardens of Ultramar. You've got, I forgot the guy's name from Space Marine 2, one of your squad members. The Sergeant character from the Secret Level TV show. And then 4 humans that would be great for Solar Ox with the Ultramarines Alliance.
Or for like ZM objectives, or like a flight crew.
Yep. The humans are my favorite part of that whole set.
Yep, I would agree. Hold on. So isn't that set? If you go back over one more, John, to the right, they basically copied that model, didn't they? From another. Literally, it's the same model with a different head.
Well, there's some more Ultramarines sculpted on it, but yeah, it's basically the same as the generic Blade Guard Sergeant. I'm surprised they didn't even give this poor man his axe back in the Secret Level show.
Yeah.
And then there's a Necron character to go with it. Apparently some weird crap's happening in 40k.
Oh, look.
And then there's the Satan Nightbringers coming back. All this is going to be in a 4-book box that plays a lot like a campaign. They showed off a campaign map with changing storylines and some other stuff. So it looks like they're going to combine all the combat forces, call it the 500 worlds.
Yeah, because Ultramar hasn't gotten picked on enough already in 40.
You're right. They haven't. They deserve it to be more.
But that's finally all of the GW news. We've got other news too. Duncan, I know you said $90 was too expensive for a blanket.
I did.
I'll raise you.
I'll raise you the new price. $130.99 for the Galaxy blanket.
Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and say that banner on there that says hurry, last few remaining, if you bought that, I'm never going to shame you for buying stuff that you really want and for your hobby. I myself love the maps that they put out on in the scrolls and everything. I think they're great. The maps of the palace are amazing. But if you pay $130 for this, let's call it a blanket, because that's what they're calling it, I'm going to shame you in person if you tell me you own that blanket. I am.
So for less money, or slightly, well, it depends on the size you get, I suppose. I'm trying to find one that's more Space Marine related. There we go. For less money, because they show a picture of this blanket on a bed. For less money, you can get, from our friends at Threat Llama, the Frog Emperor for 50 by 60 blanket, and they've also got a 60 by 80, which is way bigger than that blanket on the GW site, for the same cost.
Actually, for $10 less.
Yeah, and I can attest that this is a high quality blanket. Dog approved, because Meatball steals it.
I'm just not going to comment at all.
All right. I'm just saying, there's other blanket makers out there if you have to have your sci-fi kick. Starforge, I don't think I covered this before, because it wasn't in the new stuff, but I don't recognize it. Iron Warriors are finally getting their own Mark of Honor, basically a purity seal. What looks like a Domitar shield. The big Iron Warriors logo in the middle of it. It says Iron Within, Iron Without.
Yay!
Then it's got a little banner behind
the Iron Litany. No, that's not the Iron Litany. I don't know what that is. But it's not the Iron Litany. Oh, well.
It's cool for $30.
Yeah. Now, if only it was available in gold for like $962, it might be as bad as some of the other Starforge stuff.
Can you help us there? No.
So I can actually, because sadly, this is the last chance to buy the Starforged Imperium mailer bag. They're discontinuing it.
Oh
no!
Oh, thank God.
$339 gets you a bag with a black Dowd Aquila on it, the Ultramarine Gladius umbrella, a Molly hanger, a Molly hanger with an Aquila on it, a strap, Aquila. They call it a kettle, but it's basically a screw top thermos, a kettle bag, and then a 3-point stability belt and holders to put the umbrella on the bag. I will say I have this bag. I did not pay $300 for it. I think I paid $80. I just got the bag. I didn't get all the other stuff on it. It is a nice gaming bag for all your other stuff. It's like a Merce.
Yay.
And then completely unrelated GW news. Warlord Games has announced that they're doing a rolling sale for the entire month of November. So they started out with their Panzer stuff, Waterloo, but every week they're going to announce something else that's part of it. So it's basically 15% off. So if you wanted to use Warlord Games to supply your militia or Solar Ox armies, this is the time to check back every week and see what's on sale. Anvil Industries has a couple of announcements. First up is they've dropped their new Renegade heavy weapons teams. So these are World War I engineer-inspired. They're like World War I engineers crossed with the 40K Renegades. But could also work for Trench Crusade. And these are multi-part models, so they work just like all the other Anvil miniatures. Their arms are separate, and these ones are full torso because they've got armor plates going from chest to knee. But they do have other models that are multi-part at the waist. Their other announcement is a bunch of bikes. So if you wanted to do the militia all-cow army, you'll be able to print them soon from Anvil.
You could do all Harleys that aren't Harley shaped at all.
This looks like if Harley crossed with the Akira bike.
I was gonna say,
Yeah,
looks like
it really does.
And then one last announcement from Artel. They're coming out with some Dark Eldar themed models based on the old 3rd edition Dark Eldar. I'll let that go in your brain as much as it needs to, but the Guard Incubi are on there, and then what is probably a topless model on there that's too low quality to tell right now.
And then I think this takes us to the Zone Mortalis PDF.
Yeah, so this is a short 17-page PDF that GW dropped this week as part of their expanded rules. There is a bunch of interesting rules in here. I'm going to start off by saying I like this a lot better than 2.0's ZM rules were. 2.0 was very restrictive on things that you could and couldn't take. In fact, I think they broke it down by base size, what certain models could fit through doors and what could only fit through passageways and things like that. In this instance, it's a lot less of that and more of what can interact with what. So there's rules for marking out before the battle starts where the ceiling begins and ends. They recommend breaking down everything kind of into corridors and chambers. There's only a hazard check if you move over 9 inches, so you can take cavalry. You just may not want to gun the engines as hard as possible. There's a special rule called confined spaces that's going to come into play in a little bit. They talk about how walls block line of sight. There's rules for stairways, ladders, and hatches, so you could use vertical movement. And then barricades you can set up in the game if you choose to. They have their own special rule. They give you a 5+ cover save depending on special things that happen. And then the big kerfuffle this week was all about doorways.
Yeah.
So Jack, you could take your Stormhammer. There is no vehicle restrictions in ZM.
Okay.
But you can't move through any doors.
That's fine. They got to come to me.
There you go.
Park it out in the hallway and shoot away.
Yeah.
Shoot through the doorway.
So doors can be attacked just like it was a stationary vehicle.
See?
If a doorway suffers a glancing hit, then it takes 1 point of damage. And when you set a doorway to 0, it is not destroyed. It is simply set to open for the rest of the game. So all those that thought that you could get bonus points off your black shields were mistaken.
John, what do you mean by that?
There was a giant argument in one of the Facebook groups, people thinking you could just go start getting victory points off of winning combat with a doorway.
Yep.
There's a new piece of war gear called Breacher Charges. So any Astartes model that has the Commander Sergeant trait can pay 10 points to get a Breacher Charge. And then Breacher Charges are done at Initiative Step 0. No hit test is made. And you automatically inflict a Strength 10 AP dash damage D6.
You can blow doors open with one hit. Yay!
Ranges are pretty much measured the exact same way as they were before. Obviously, except you have to make sure that you actually have a defined range. If a path cannot be traced between two models due to intervening walls or doorways in the closed state, you don't have line of sight. So obviously if the door is closed, you can't shoot through it.
Makes perfect sense.
Some of the special rules are barrage. You can't barrage. Flyers.
Again, makes perfect sense.
Flyers can't fly.
Yep.
Scatter stops at a door or stops at a wall or closed doorway. And then there's a new rule called blind panic. If a model from a unit that is falling back ends its move or passes within 2 inches of any other friendly models that are under the effect of a tactical status that is not routed, then they must take a leadership test or gain routed themselves.
All of this is making sense to me.
Now, the weirder part, to me anyway. There's 2 new special rules in here that are a little odd. There's confined space and doorway. Each of these are an X-type rule. Confined spaces are impassable to models with a bulky value or greater than the X in this. So if it's confined space 4, it's impassable to all models with bulky 4 or greater. That is a fairly straightforward rule. We will get to how it's confusing in a minute. Doorway X, models with a so when you move through a doorway, you do not subtract any movement to your distances unless you are larger than the door. For example, a model with bulky 6 that is moving through a doorway 4 reduces its movement by 2 inches. This is important because you cannot step up or I think it's charge, but through a normal doorway. That have these, right here, special rule. Otherwise, a doorway does not reduce the distance for setup moves or charge moves, as each door cost is impassable to vehicles. Unit starts its move outside the area of a doorway, but any models in the doorway, then you can declare if you want to move through the door. So this is how you start limiting the sizes of models that are allowed in certain areas through confined spaces and doorways. Instead of before, where they just blanketly said nothing with an 80mm base or larger, which kind of meant Leviathans that were designed for for confined space combat couldn't go into confined spaces. If you end up within 2 inches of a doorway, you can take an intelligence check to either close or open a door. And then finally, if a model is on a doorway when it's moved from the open to closed state, you immediately take a Strength 8 AP dash hit with damage 2, and then the doorway is permanently open for the rest of the game. So it crushes one guy, and then goes, oh crap, and it stays open. And then the last few pages are missions. This is my opinion is where it gets a little confusing. There are 3 types of missions. Since they're all played on 4x4, there's not really kind of varying deployment maps apart from how the confined spaces rule comes into play. There are 3 different deployment maps that are within this. Reserves come in like normal, so you can come in off the sides of the table, and it'll show you your deployment zones inside of this in a minute. Sudden death is still in Zone Mortalis, so if you're down by less than half, you can try to push for that. Victory points screw up to that point. The model, if a player still has models on the table, you get at least 3 victory points. Same rules for controlling primary objectives. You can't have any statuses on you. You can't be locked in combat. You can't be embarked on another model or vehicle. And then vehicles, cavalry, or automata cannot control objectives, same as normal. There are 2 mission special rules called Abyssal Darkness. Basically, line of sight is limited to 6 inches of abyssal darkness. And then impenetrable area, neither player may deploy any units from reserve using Deep Strike special rule to deploy in these areas. But you may come in from reserves on this area. Okay. So in the missions, I apologize if you can't see this, but for those just listening, you'll kind of have to listen to us talk about it. The mission is set up in a 4x4 grid using the normal ZM 12-inch tiles. All of the tiles that are edge pieces are set up as designated alpha, and the 4 interior tiles are designated beta. The alpha are all confined space 8, and the beta are all confined space 6. Now, if you remember, that's what limits the size of models, bulky models that can move through these. I like the confined space rule, but I don't like this part of it, where it's random from tile to tile. You could be walking down a hallway, and all of a sudden the hallway's smaller. I'm kind of the opinion that it's something you should mark on the tiles themselves, or maybe show it some way.
I think you could actually do it easiest by just spacing the actual corridor sections that you use on the actual map or on the battlefield. That to me
Yeah, I get why they're doing this, because you're only going to have so many ways of building your tiles.
Nope, I get it.
So you can't really space them out. But like you're saying, it would be cool if you could obviously build them all the same way. Because they obviously built this with the idea of the ZM tiles in mind, not like a Space Hulk style system where you're only setting down corridors to move through.
Yeah, I think we might be focusing a bit much on that part, but yeah, I get it. I'm not really a huge fan of that either. But I get
it gets a little weirder when we get into it gets a little weirder when we get into some of the other ones. In this mission, you roll a dice at the beginning of each player's turn. On a roll of 1, Abyssal Darkness takes place during your turn and into the next player turn. So the power comes on and off every time.
Okay.
Next mission is, each one of these also has special ways of setting up their objectives. The last one was, it was all on the join between the edge and inner tiles. The next one, it's set up kind of in the middle of those tiles. In this one, it's the same, with outside tiles being alpha and inside tiles being beta. This one uses impenetrable area, but doesn't... Oh, I guess the whole thing is impenetrable since it doesn't specifically mention certain areas. And then the last mission is called Signal Influx. This one doesn't have any confined space special rule, but it does have one called Crumbling Superstructure. After deploying armies, but before beginning step 8 for rolling a die, each player must roll a die, or one player must roll a dice for each battlefield section that has no models on it. If the result is 2 or more, that section has the confined space X special rule for the rest of the battle, with the value of X equal to the result on the die.
Yeah, they're really leaning into the whole confined zone, confining everything to limited movement and everything. Yep. They're basically restricting you. They're trying to tell you only bring Terminators and power armor, which is really what it feels like.
Yeah.
And they're also kind of seemingly limiting it from, you don't want to bring too many Saturnine because they're bulky 3. So regular Terminators who, hey, we just released, or we just announced the new Cataphracti box, and your regular power armor Marines. So
the Saturnine too, you have the non-line of sight weapons, which don't work well at all either.
Yeah, you're going to have line of sight for the barrage version.
Yeah. I'm glad we finally got the ZM rules back for this edition.
Oh yeah, I love every part of this, other than the way that they've tried to enact the confined space.
I think
that could just be a simple thing that you can do yourself, or just completely ignore it for parts of it.
Yeah, I think that a lot of the confined space stuff you should really hash out with your opponent before you actually play that, because that could be really limiting and could limit both your fun and their fun, and limit player agency to what people do and don't have miniatures wise, and just be kind of not cool. My opinion only. Your mileage may vary.
I like that no doorway, no matter the physical size, is limited to certain models. So that way you could get Leviathans into tiny doors. It's just going to take them a lot more movement to do it.
That was one thing that had me worried when I started reading this originally, was that, they're doing a limited influx, your limited size, this. Does that mean that, like, my Contemptor cannot make it through a doorway and is going to be stuck on the other side? Are you telling me that my Terminators can't make it through certain doors? So, yeah, that felt kind of worrying at first. And it still feels a little worrying because of the confined space rules. But overall, I see where they're coming from.
What about
I don't really dislike it, because it is them trying to make smaller games more limited into what you've brought. And it can be fun.
So Dreads. Go ahead, Jamie, sorry.
I was going to say, what about the lack of the reserves rule like you used to have?
I like that. I didn't like the way you had to divide up your army really weird and do the weird deployments.
And like, if you didn't have something that kind of was the foil for whatever somebody else had, you were like totally up, what creek without a paddle.
Yeah,
and then having to spend special reserve points for. You had to save up points every turn, and then some units could only come in because they were so expensive. Like, if you wanted a Primarch on the field, you burned all your reserve to start the game. Yep. But then you couldn't put him in reserve because he was too freaking many points anyway.
Yep.
Yeah. It really felt unpleasant sometimes with the reserve points last edition. Them being utterly gone, no, I like that. I prefer that. I really do in this edition.
I like that everyone can play this. So knights aren't precluded from this because Armigers are, I think it's bulky 6. I just pulled up the dreads. So Dorito is bulky 7, Leviathan is 7, Contemptor is 6, and Saturnine is 8.
What about Castaferum or Box?
Boxes are...
We're still here.
Yeah, we're still here. We're
Castaferums are bulky 5.
Yeah, there you go.
So if you want to be able to bring your dreads, Castaferum and Contemptors, don't risk it with the other guys.
Yep.
Or risk it for a biscuit, because I'm sitting here looking at Zone Mortalis maps, and there's plenty of room for Fellblade.
Yeah, risk it all for the biscuit and grab yourself a Fellblade. Heck,
grab a Doom Wagon. That's what's needed right there, baby.
Grab
are bulky 8.
Get a Praetor, get a Contemptor, or sorry, a Centurion, and do nothing but Saturnine Dreads and a Fellblade, and those 2 characters, you're good to go.
Predator with Flamers.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Hey, Jack, that new Super Heavy that they previewed in Elite LI, man, it's got the Mega Flamer.
Where do I need to find... Oh, wait, never mind. Thank you, Jamie.
Oh, Lord. You all just gave Jack an idea. This is already going to be terrible.
Well, I may have access to the Warhound Flamer, and I may have access to a Falchion type situation.
Oh, my Lord.
Oh, my gosh.
You put peanut butter on my chocolate. You put chocolate on my peanut butter.
Yeah, overall, I think this is a good mission set and change to ZM in general. Like Jamie was saying, a lot of the goofier, killy things are gone, like anything strength 4 or over randomly getting rending like it was in 1.0, or flamers becoming twin linked like it was in 2.0. A lot of those little odder things that you would forget in the middle of the game are gone.
Yeah. ZM has always been fun. And the point of the game is to have fun.
I will say that this version of ZM, just going through the rules and reading them out and then kind of thinking about it, it seems smaller, like smaller
Condensed
units to me. Does that make sense?
Yeah, there's no specific points limits on this, but the Facebook page said 1,500 to 2K.
Yeah, it just
And
seems
even
like
2K seems a little large.
yeah.
If you want to throw a 4K game of those guys on this table, man, go ahead. Have fun with it. I think it'd be fun. I think it'd be fluffy. I think it'd be crowded, and I think it'd be chaotic as all get out, and you wouldn't get through it without like a 6-hour game.
no,
but
that'd be yeah.
That'd be insane.
Okay, so I'm not gonna lie, I may have zoned out for a brief moment. There's no like detachment limitations or anything like that.
Restrictions.
You could do anything.
Yeah.
Everything is normal in here. Army building wise.
Well, except you cannot bring flyers.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, oh no, I can't bring a flyer, but I could bring whatever else I can fit with the right number of Centurions.
Yes.
Yep.
You sure can.
Including the super heavy flame tank with
I knew Jack was going to go there.
I think I have the technology to do that.
I think you do,
Mm-hmm.
and I think you have the will too.
For at 100 paying Patreons, I will do it and give it away to somebody. And laugh while Duncan makes an Ultramarines army at the same time.
So all the non-line of sight weapons that
Limited
were
to end of
goofy,
this year.
like Fulmintaris Terminator missiles in second edition, all those type of weapons are pretty much gone.
Yeah,
So none of the weird shenanigans that would come from those type of things are here anymore. So all in all, I like it.
I mean it's a much condensed rule set compared to 2.0 because they had like all the diagrams with the shooting around corners and all that crap too. Which I mean I could see at some point them expanding these like or putting these into a journal, one of the journals. So
And throw in a new type of breacher command squad while they're in it.
sure.
Yep. I think the way this lines up and the way the rules seem to lay out to me, I was already planning on getting breachers. I was already planning on building breachers. I'm already planning on doing a whole bunch of stuff with them because I think the veteran breacher squad is amazingly fun and looks great. And just regular breachers to look fun as well. Yeah. Color me happy with this, and it's just
This has
I'm happy.
enticed my buddy Joel to help me build my ZM terrain.
Yeah, I mean I've got a bunch too. I've got a mat just for it with walls and all that. The only thing, the walls I have are like the boarding actions ones that like you actually had sections you could blow holes through the walls with like breaching charges, and like the walls actually have chunks that would blow out. You could do that, like to go through.
Yeah, and I've got you printing me some add-ons to all the ZM stuff as well. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of cool terrain stuff coming from us, and more ZM content as we go forward.
Yeah. Well, gentlemen, at this point, do we have anything else?
I have a question,
What?
like a legit question.
Sure. Shoot.
So on the roadmap, I don't have the roadmap in front of me. Have they delivered everything that they promised to deliver so far this year?
That was exactly the same thing I was just getting ready to ask.
So
And
there's our. I just pulled up.
I like
the
how
roadmap.
this feels like it was planned, but this was not planned.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, I put the roadmap in my download rules folder, so if we could pull it up because I kept thinking about it too. So yeah, we're officially done with the digital roadmap. I think the only thing we're waiting on now that was announced prior to 3.0 is the Talons of the Emperor book. They said that they would give us a PDF for a while, and then the book would come shortly. But we don't officially know what shortly means.
My guess, realistically, with how fast they've been dumping everything, which we've all said we agree and appreciate a lot, probably towards the end of this month for pre-order and maybe December delivery.
I think it's going to be pushed out further than that.
I think it's likely to be dropped right around the time they drop the box sets. Mm-hmm. Just because it'll help push their Q4 sales.
Q2.
I think it's going to be a little longer for Talons because I think that Talons are going to... I've heard rumors of redoing Custodes for a Heresy Custodes versus a 40K Custodes.
Yep.
So we'll see what's going to happen.
I was going to say, like, I don't see the Talons book. And also I've heard stuff about the Sisters, too. Like, drastically expanding that line because there's literally one model, essentially, in the transport. But Karl, but...
I could see them doing something with it as, like, additional, like, hey, I know we have this new edition of whatever game system they have going on in July. I'm sitting here circling it with my mouse, but nobody can see it. But, like, them dropping that, like, somewhere in this time frame as, like, here you go, Heresy. We haven't forgot you in July of 26. Also...
I was going to say probably, like, one of the quarterly releases. Yeah. So, like, you're talking, like, February, March, or, like, the July window.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if we're actually going to do the quarterly releases like they have in the past. We might actually see more accelerated releases just so they can keep up with everything that the pace they seem to hold.
They've been doing pretty good with keeping this on almost a Necromunda-like release schedule.
Maybe, yeah.
So it wouldn't surprise me if we get something every quarter.
I could see more journals doing that. Like, they just keep cranking out journals with more, one or two squad editions with more fluff, which, I mean, I love the fluff. I'll get the journals just because they're kind of cool to me. I mean, they could be much more sizable, but, like, a bigger release, though, I think they will still stick to, like, the quarterly type thing.
Big release, yeah, but I can definitely see them doing more stuff for us soon.
Yeah,
look at Necromunda. 1 month you'll get an expansion box and maybe a gang and a book, and that's it. I mean, that would be plenty enough for us. You get an expansion sprue to all the marks and maybe a new armor set or something.
Well, I mean, they usually take December off too, so
yeah, we'll probably get those. We just got the combat forces, so we might get. My guess is this December will probably be the two previewed boxes, the Cataphracti box and the Mechanicum box.
May I ask another question?
Yeah.
Did LVO get moved from February this year to like a month or two ago?
Yes. It was like in October or something like that.
Is it LVO generally the first convention of the year?
Yeah, now it's like mid to late January.
Okay.
Now it's Texas Open is going to be the first one, and they have not in the past worked with Texas Open at all. That's the one I'm running my event at.
So if we were to get a new roadmap for next year, it would be Adepticon? Be the
likely so, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's going to be the first officially supported event, yeah.
Yeah, it'd be like Adepticon or like some smaller like weekender type event that they'd have in the UK for like something random.
Yeah. Could be either one.
Like Black Library Live or some whatever, and then they do, like a weekender type.
When do they do Games Day in England?
I don't know. Can we wrap this up? Sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
I guess event shout-out?
Yeah, event shout-outs. BolterCon weekend.
Yep, next weekend is also the Phoenix event in Kansas, as well as if you're not going to that, you're going to stay local to Plano. My Thanksgiving event is going to be held at the Hamilton Inn. And then January 16th, 17th, and 18th is going to be the Texas Open, where I'm running a 50-person Heresy event.
Other than that, I don't think we really have any events to shout out at the moment. Brian, you got any events to throw out?
No, nothing currently slated other than the normal regular play days.
Sounds good. Well, Jack, you want to tell John to take us out of here?
John, you want to do that thing?
Yeah, so thank you everybody for joining us on this, the 148th episode of the Heresy Accountabilibuddies Podcast. My name is John, and I've been joined by
Brian.
Duncan.
Jack.
And Jamie.
And join us next week where we'll talk about Iron Warriors and Imperial Fists and go through how GW thinks we should play terrain. And always remember to stay accountable to yourselves, to your buddies, and your hobby. And we'll talk to you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Like and subscribe and see ya.